Hey guys, Taki here. Today we're going to be doing a bossing guide for the second elite dungeon, Dragonkin Laboratory. To get notified of all new videos when they drop, and to help support the channel, smash that sub button and click the bell icon. Welcome back to another bossing guide. On screen is an overview of this guide. As always, you can find timestamps for anything that I talk about in the description box below, so feel free to skip around. If you have any questions or would like to get help forming your own groups for elite dungeons, feel free to join the Taki Discord linked in the description box below. Let's get into it. The first boss that you're going to have to deal with in this instance is a celestial dragon, and she has a few mechanics that you're going to need to deal with during the fight. First, let's talk about the pulsar. When you engage the boss, you're going to want to use Mage Protection Prayer to block some of the damage from the boss. After a little while, you'll get a chat window above your head stating that the boss has summoned a pulsar star. You need to immediately switch to the pulsar and burn it down quickly. The pulsar acts as a cannon and will hit over 2k per pulse. The next mechanic in this fight is actually made up of two parts that go together, the neutron star and the black holes. Around the time that you're killing a pulsar, a person in your group will be targeted with a blue loading bar under their adrenaline bar. They need to simply wait until the bar fills, and then they need to drop the black hole on the ground in a safe place before moving out of it. After this, another player in the group will be targeted with a message over their head stating that a neutron star is drawn toward them. This player needs to kite the neutron star over to the black hole on the ground. Once the neutron star reaches the black hole, all players need to stand inside the white hole and burn the boss down, making sure to prioritize DPS abilities like Sunshine and Death's Witness. If a player ends up touching the neutron star, they will be hit with 5,000 damage, and they will need to wait for another to spawn to restart this process. And the last mechanic is actually a very simple one to deal with, and that's the Astral Rainfall. Throughout the fight, the boss will spawn a rainfall attack that will damage anyone per tick that is standing inside it for a small amount of damage. You genuinely want to stand out of this unless the rainfall is over your white hole, at which point it may be beneficial to simply tank the damage and DPS the boss. Our second boss in this instance is an upgraded c.Black dragon with a few more mechanics to deal with. The first one that we're going to talk about is the Spire. You're going to start this fight with Mage Protection on and tanking the boss hits while you go through your ability rotation. At one point, a message will pop up on screen saying that the boss slams his tail against the ground, and this is your cue to switch to melee protection to limit some of the damage. If you don't switch, it's not the end of the world, the hit is not too high, but after it, you're going to want to switch to your Mage Protection and burn down the spires that are up. The next mechanic that we will talk about are the eggs. Shortly after dealing with the spires, a message will pop up over your head saying that the boss has ricocheted something off you into the sky. This is your cue to stand in the middle of the green pointing arrows close to your character. If you fail to collect this, each player in your group will be hit for 4k. Pay attention to the initial message that you receive from the boss, because you need to clear your attack by investigating one of the 3 eggs around the room that is not the same type as the attack you initially soaked. If you correctly soak the initial attack but fail to investigate an egg, you will get hit with a very high attack that will almost certainly kill you. The next attack in this fight are the smoke lines, and these are pretty basic. One person in the group will be targeted with red circles at their feet. They simply need to move around to get out of the way of the attack dropped from the flying dragon. And finally we have the flame mechanic. At one point in the fight, the boss will look at one person and say, "Let the flames melt the flesh from your bone." This player needs to quickly move out of the initial 3x3 fire square that spawns in the ground. After this attack, fire tornadoes will spawn in the ground, which can easily combo you if you're caught inside them. And the last boss in this instance is the Black Stone Dragon. This boss has the most mechanics, but is probably the easiest to deal with of all the bosses in this instance. The first attack that we're going to deal with in this fight are the spikes. Start this boss like all of the others with Protect from Magic on. After a little while, you will see the boss raise its wings and your screen will start to shake. A projectile attack will follow you before launching spikes at your feet. If you're caught by this attack, you will take a high damage hit and you will lose adrenaline. The second mechanic in this fight are the 4 black hands that spawn around the boss. Once during the fight, the boss will jump to the center of the room and you will need to burn down each of the hands surrounding it. These hands have very high defense, so it's advised to use things that boost your accuracy. While you are killing these hands, you will be hit with a magic smoke attack. Shortly after this attack, you will see hands starting to make their way to where you are standing. Simply move out of the way to avoid high tick damage. If you are not careful of where you are standing around the hand, it is very easy to get comboed to death. After you kill the fourth hand, the boss will be mobile again, and then the next part of the fight will start. The next boss mechanic are the spirals, and these are very easy to deal with given how slow they are. Shortly after dealing with the hands, the boss will gain a new ability that it will use for the remainder of the fight. The white spiral circle will start to slowly encase the boss, and anyone caught in the path will take some damage. You can limit your movement during this attack by moving one square away from the previous spiral, and you should remain safe. After this, we have the shadow bombs, and these are actually something that you're going to want to watch out for, as they can deal a lot of damage. Occasionally throughout the fight, the boss will target a player in your group and say, "The shadow overwhelms." This is your cue to get the hell out of that area, because a shadow tendril-like attack will start to fill that space and spread over the nearby area and hit anyone caught inside for high damage. And the last mechanic in this fight is an attack that's similar to Vindicta's Fire in a way with a little alteration. At one point in the fight, the boss will start to rapidly fly and drop down around the arena, leaving behind a trail of white fire that spreads out in multiple directions. If you get caught inside, it's very easy to get comboed. Since this boss isn't able to be damaged during this time, I've found that it's best to keep to the outside of the arena until the attack is finished. Be very careful because the boss can spawn a spiral and fire at the same time toward the end of the previous phase. If you get caught inside, simply surge to safety to avoid death. This last part is only meant for people that want to see complete, unedited kills. If this guide helped you, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If there's anything else you'd like to see me do a guide on, drop a comment below and I'll pick your suggestions.
again and again. I feel it in waves, you follow me, drifting to places I should leave, so close to the edge of something so perfect. We were too scared